Abdullah bin Hudhafah Al-Sahmi was a man of remarkable faith and courage. He lived during the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Abdullah embraced Islam with all his heart. He dedicated his life to upholding its teachings. One day, Abdullah and some companions were captured during a battle. They were taken as prisoners to the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine king had heard tales of the Muslims' unwavering faith. He was curious to see it for himself. The king decided to test Abdullah's resolve. He offered him unimaginable wealth and a position of power within his kingdom, but there was a catch. Abdullah would have to abandon Islam and embrace the king's religion. Abdullah listened patiently to the king's offer. He knew the king held immense power. He understood the implications of refusal, yet his faith was not for sale.
My faith is not for sale.
Abdullah looked at the king with calm conviction. He politely declined the offer. He explained that his faith was more precious to him than any earthly treasure. He would never trade it for anything, not even his life.
My faith is more precious to me than any earthly treasure. I would never trade it for anything, not even my life.
The king was furious. He had not expected such defiance. He had underestimated the strength of Abdullah's belief. Enraged, the king ordered Abdullah to be tortured until he broke.
Torture him until he breaks.
Abdullah was subjected to horrific torment, but through it all he remained steadfast. His faith did not waver. He knew that his pain was temporary. The reward for his steadfastness, however, would be eternal.
His resilience is unbelievable.
The king watched in astonishment. Abdullah's resilience was unbelievable. The tortures inflicted should have broken any man. Yet Abdullah seemed to draw strength from his faith. The king was baffled. He resolved to try a different approach. The king ordered his guards to build a massive fire. Then he commanded Abdullah to be thrown into the inferno. He believed that witnessing such a terrifying sight would surely break Abdullah's spirit. As the flames roared around him, Abdullah closed his eyes. He started to cry. The king smiled, thinking that Abdullah was finally succumbing to fear. He ordered his guards to pull Abdullah out of the fire.
What made you cry? Was it the fear of the fire?
Abdullah looked at the king, his eyes filled with tears. But they were not tears of fear, they were tears of regret.
I cried because I wished I had 1,000 lives to give in the path of Allah, and that I could be thrown into this fire for His sake 1,000 times.
The king was stunned. This man's faith was beyond his comprehension. The king, though cruel, was also a man of his word. He had promised Abdullah freedom if he converted. Abdullah had refused. His faith remained unshaken.
Your spirit is unwavering, Abdullah. I will release you.
However, there were other Muslim captives. Abdullah saw an opportunity. He pleaded with the king to release his companions as well.
I ask you, release my companions too. Show them the same mercy you have shown me.
He appealed to the king's sense of justice and mercy. The king, moved by Abdullah's compassion, agreed to a bargain.
I will release a certain number of prisoners for every Muslim who agrees to pay a ransom.
Abdullah's heart sank. He knew his people were poor. They would not be able to afford a hefty ransom. He needed to find another way. Abdullah thought long and hard. Finally, he came up with a plan. He approached the king with a proposition. Abdullah proposed a deal.
Release me and my companions. In return, I promise that the Muslims will pay a ransom. However, we will not pay it in gold or silver. We will pay it in men.
The king was intrigued. This was a novel proposition.
What men will you offer?
We will send you 4,000 of our strongest warriors. These warriors will be stationed on your borders. They will protect your kingdom from your enemies. They will be your shield against any threat.
The king was swayed by Abdullah's logic. He agreed to the deal. Abdullah and his companions were released. They returned to their people, hailed as heroes. News of Abdullah's bravery and cleverness reached Umar bin Al-Khattab, the leader of the Muslims. Umar was deeply impressed by Abdullah's unwavering faith and his dedication to his people. Umar summoned Abdullah.
You have shown us the true meaning of faith and loyalty. You are an inspiration to us all.
Umar appointed Abdullah to a position of high honor. He entrusted him with important responsibilities. Abdullah continued to serve his people and his faith with unwavering dedication for the rest of his days. Abdullah bin Hudhafah Al-Sahmi's story is a testament to the power of faith. It shows us that even in the face of adversity, true belief can give us the strength to persevere. His story inspires us to stand firm in our convictions, no matter the cost.